Growing a business isn't always easy, but what if someone gifted you the free tips, tools, and guidance you needed to get there? Imagine what the year ahead would look like if you knew you didn't have to do the work alone. Welcome to the 12 Days of Christmas Business Growth Advent Calendar, where each day you'll get to open up a free gift of growth with exclusive interviews, audios, and tools to help you thrive. I'm CJ Thomas, the founder of Simply Healthy Marketing. I'm a business and marketing coach, organic growth strategist, and lover of all things authenticity. And I can't wait to share these gifts with you. So let's go. You can't change your future when you're stuck in your past. This is a growth mindset tip that has completely changed the game for me. And it's something that is just so simple, but it never truly clicked until I heard someone say it a couple of times. I got really quiet and I had to really think about what it truly meant. And when I was able to figure it out, I was able to look at my life and see how this law, if you want to call it that, is reflected and how it's been impacting me. And I want to share this with you today to help you shift your mindset, if only a little bit at a time, so that you can start creating your future based on your future goals and desires and not based on your past. So what do I mean by this? As humans, our brain is programmed to take in the information that we've received and use it to guide us and protect us from different situations that cause trauma in our lives that we don't want to encounter again. And because of that, our past has the ability to echo in our mind. I'm sure that you've experienced this when, for example, maybe you went through, we'll talk about a real life example, not necessarily a business example, but maybe you went through a breakup at one point and you found yourself getting super hyper fixated on the past in the present moment. And what that might have looked like was thinking about all of the things that happened, all of the things that might have gone wrong, all of the things that maybe you could have done differently, and not necessarily thinking about the fact that, okay, the present reality is that for whatever reason, this relationship has ended for now. It doesn't work for now. Maybe it doesn't work completely, and it's not something that you're going to go back to. But your brain has collected that data. And so now moving forward, in every situation that you get into, when you meet someone new, you go right back to that previous relationship. And you might notice that you're processing it in your new relationship. And you're starting to look for evidence that this new relationship is the same exact relationship you used to be in. And if we're not careful, and if we don't catch that, then we end up recreating our past relationships because we are creating from the past. Okay, now let's look at this from a business standpoint. You have been in business for years, and you have launched, and you have created product after product, and you feel like you did it all correctly, but every time you launched, for some reason, it didn't work out. There was some component that was missing. There was some piece that you didn't quite understand. And so it just didn't work out the way that you expected. You maybe didn't reach your goals. And as you went into your next launch, you started thinking about the last one and how it didn't work out and how you set these goals and you weren't able to meet them, and you worked so hard, and you showed up so consistently, and the algorithm screwed you over, and nobody engaged, and nobody signed up, and all of the different, like the laundry list of all the things that you did in the past that your brain wants to protect you from in this next launch, they come to the present. And without even thinking, you start creating the future based on your past launch. And odds are that next launch turned out very similar. Maybe you learned something new, but you still got very similar results. And what tends to happen when we are creating the future from the past is that we start to cultivate a sense of fear and hardening, a sense of rigidity. And this is all completely okay. I want you to know that if this is happening to you, it's okay, because it truly is your brain trying to protect you. So embrace that for a moment. And maybe even thank your brain. Say, hey, like, I see you, I hear you. You're just trying to make sure this doesn't happen to me again. And thank you. It's honestly a beautiful gift that we have as humans to be able to process things that way. Because when it comes to those truly traumatic situations that we don't want to get into again, we are able to protect ourselves. When it becomes a problem, though, is when we're not really in those situations that are truly, I don't want to say truly traumatic, because trauma is objective, but they may not be as much of a threat as our body and our brain believes that they are. And so we start to protect ourselves when maybe we should be leaning in, when maybe we should be opening up and getting curious and taking leaps even when we're afraid. I heard something recently, and I wish that I could reference who it came from. I'm so sorry that I can't. But they said, it's okay to be afraid when you're doing something new. And you can still do it anyway. And that just hit me like a ton of bricks, because it was like, oh, right. Fear doesn't mean stop. Fear is just a natural response. And so if you're able to grasp this concept that our brain is protecting us from future events by bringing up details of the past events that we were in, this is the first step towards changing your future outcome. And here's how you're going to do it. At least here's how I do it. And obviously, everything that I share with you, I want you to take what resonates and leave what doesn't. But this is just a tip that I want to share with you. And hopefully it's something that you can take with you moving forward into 2023, so that you feel like, okay, I am going to start manifesting my future, planning out my future, creating my future based on what I want to see happen in my future, not based on what I've seen happen in my past. So here's a quick exercise that you can do. I want you to write down a goal that you have, a future goal. And then next to that goal, write down the current beliefs you have around it. And then next to that beliefs list, write down where the beliefs came from. And just be open and curious to what you find out. So I'll give you some examples for this. So say your future goal is that you want to book 3 clients in your business. You have a coaching business. You want to book 3 clients. And next to that goal, you're going to start thinking about your beliefs. Maybe some of your beliefs are that, and just, don't judge these beliefs that come up. Maybe some of your beliefs are that you're not really good at booking clients. You've tried in the past and it just doesn't really work out. You know that you want the clients, but it just feels like a lot of work and effort to make the content and do all of the things, do all the strategies to make it happen. that might be where your mindset is. And if it is, that's totally fine. Don't judge it. Then you are going to look at the situations that created that story. Maybe in the past, you did a bunch of free calls and never booked a client for whatever reason. Be very objective about this. Just like the truth is that you did a bunch of free calls, you didn't book a client. You put in a lot of work creating content, you didn't get a lot of engagement, it didn't help you book clients. And just start to go through the list of what are the past objective events that happened that created these stories in your mind. And now go to the present moment list. Is this reflecting in your present moment? Once again, no judgment here, because maybe it is. Maybe you are doing sales calls again and you're not booking people. Maybe you are creating that content and you're just like, it's not working out. I'm not getting the push I want to see. And then just sit with that for a moment. And then this last step is actually the key here. Go back to your goal. And then you're going to move forward. So going to your goal, I want to book 3 clients, and think about, okay, what are some of the action steps that I'm currently taking, right? So we're going to kind of rework this in a different direction. You want to book 3 clients. What action steps are you currently taking to book those clients? You're doing the coaching calls. Objective, right? You're doing the coaching calls. You're trying out the content again. What belief do you want to have about the action that you're taking? And this one is the hardest for people. So here's how I like to do it and how it really works for me. So I'll say, okay, I'm doing the coaching calls, the free calls. I'm doing the free calls. And I just want to believe that if I keep showing up, it's going to work out. I'm really grateful that I'm even booking these free calls. I know there are infinite resources out there that can help me figure out how to shift the way I'm approaching these calls. I'm open to seeing that maybe I can approach these calls in a different way. So you start to see how the beliefs that you can start to channel in, and let me just say, you don't have to have any attachment initially to these new beliefs. But they're different than what you've created from your past. They're different from the story you've created from your past. They're softer. They're more curious. They're more open. And you're able to start aligning to a different future. And so maybe this is something you do daily. And I would even just argue to just do it without any expectation. Just do it because you're like, okay, I want to see if I can change my brain. Do it as if it was a game for you. And just play with it each day, right? Approach it with curiosity. And see how that starts to change your future outcome. Because now you are creating from the present moment and from your future goals, not from the past. So I hope this growth mindset tip was helpful for you today. And if it was, I invite you to share it with a friend. I think that we are going through a time where there is so much happening externally. We need support from each other, and our friends are gold. They're always gold, but especially in these times. So, if you found that this was a gem for you, a big takeaway, share it with a friend and see if it's something that could help them too. Because at the end of the day, true growth is helping others grow too. It's nurturing your community. I even invite you to share it with your community. Maybe that's something that, maybe you can find a teachable moment from what I've shared with you today that you can take and pass on to your community. You have my permission. All right. Happy creating, happy growing, happy holidays, and I will see you for the next day of the 12 Days of Christmas Business Growth Advent Calendar.